Welcome to the course Depreciation, Alternate Investment and Profitability Analysis. We are continuing with module 1, that is depreciation. In today's lecture, I will be covering a depreciation method which is called sinking fund method. Sinking fund method is also known as depreciation fund method or amortization fund method, is a technique for depreciating an asset in bookkeeping records while also generating money to procure a replacement for the same asset when it reaches the end of its useful life. Now, the sinking fund method is the only method in which we use time value of money. That means, when a depreciation amount is cut, then that depreciation amount is invested and it earns money. Under the sinking fund method, the business sets aside an amount of money to invest annually, so that the principal plus the interest earned in the fund will be enough to replace the asset. Whereas, sinking fund method helps to strengthen financial position of a firm, it is not common and is not desirable when interest rates cannot be predicted reasonably, because in the sinking fund method we take a constant value of the interest rate and that interest rate is considered to be remain constant throughout the lifespan of the equipment, and based on that a yearly payment is being calculated, and hence if the interest rate is fluctuating randomly or heavily during the lifespan of the equipment, then it is not a good method to be used. Now, let us see sinking fund method. The use of compound interest is involved in the sinking fund method. That is why we say that the sinking fund method uses the time value of money. It is assumed that the basic purpose of depreciation allowance is to accumulate a sufficient fund to provide for the recovery of the original capital invested in the property. An ordinary annuity plan is set up wherein a constant amount of money should theoretically be set aside each year. At the end of the service life, the sum of all the deposits plus accrued interest must equal the total amount of depreciation. Based on this philosophy, the amount, yearly amount, or we say the annuity is being computed for sinking fund method. Now, let us go for the derivation. Now, the fund which needs to be depreciated is V minus Vs, and we know that if this V minus Vs, then if R is the annuity, the formula is this 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 divided by I, or R is equal to V minus Vs I 1 plus I to the power n minus 1, where I is the annual interest rate expressed as a fraction, R is the uniform annual payments made at the end of each year, this is the annual depreciation cost, V minus Vs is total amount of the annuity accumulated in an estimated service life of n years, that the original value of the property minus the salvage value at the end of the service life. Now, we can derive other equations which are used here. Now, the amount depreciated after A years is equal to V minus VA, and we can write down V minus VA is equal to R 1 plus I to the power A minus 1 divided by I. Now, replacing the value of R from the earlier equations, we can write down V minus VA is equal to V minus Vs, V minus Vs I 1 plus I to the power n minus 1 into 1 plus I to the power A minus 1 divided by I, which is equal to B minus Vs into 1 plus I to the power A minus 1 divided by 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. From here I can calculate this book value. This book value VA is equal to V minus B minus Vs one plus I to the power A minus 1, 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. So, this gives me to directly calculate the book value after 1 year, after A years. Since the value of R represents the annual depreciation cost, the yearly cost of depreciation is constant when the sinking fund method is used, as in the earlier methods which do not use the time value of money we have seen, like sum of the years digit method, double declining balance method. The depreciation amount was changing with time, but here in the sinking fund method, as we are finding out the value of R, which is a constant value, the depreciation is constant for all the years. This is shown in the figure. This method results in book values which are always greater than those obtained with the straight line method, because of the effect of interest in the sinking fund method. The annual decrease in asset value of the property is less in the early life years than in the later years. This can be clear from this figure which is shown in the right hand side. Now, let us take some examples. Example 1, a firm purchases an air conditioning plant paying 30 lakhs of rupees. The salvage value of the plant after 10 years of service life is expected to be 5 lakh. An average interest rate for the service life period can be taken as 10%. Find yearly depreciation rate using sinking fund method. So, we start with the example 1. Now, given R V is equal to 30 lakhs, Vs is equal to 5 lakh, I is equal to 10%, in fractions this is 0.1. So, V minus Vs is equal to 30 lakh minus 5 lakh is 25 lakh. So, depreciable amount is 25 lakh. The 25 lakh cost which should be accumulated at the end of the 10th year. This 25 lakh is needed at the end of the 10th year. If this is 10th year, this is 0th year. So, here I want a sum of 25 lakh. So, this 25 lakh is a future value, and what I will get each year I will get an annuity. So, my equation is R, which is the annuity payment, depreciation payment each year, is equal to V minus Vs into I 1 plus I to the power n minus 1, where this V by Vs, this is nothing but this value, which is a future value. So, the value of R can be computed from using this formula. Now, R is equal to 25 lakh into 0.1 divided by 1 plus 0.1 to the power 10 minus 1. This comes out to be 25 lakh into 0.062 74539, and this value comes out to be 1,56863.48. That means each year this much amount of depreciation will be charged. This is year 1, this is year 2, and this value is 15,0156863, that is 1,56,863. This will be the payment each year for depreciation. Now, what will happen? This payment will earn interest up to this year, this payment will earn interest up to this year, and maybe that if a payment is here, this will earn interest up to this year. So, when we add all these values and interest, this comes out to be 25 lakh. So, now interest earned at the end of second year is 156,863.48 into 0.1. Now, if I am calculating the interest earned by this amount in 1 year, this part I am calculating, this value will earn a interest in 1 year will be equal to this. Now, interest earned at the end of third year will be, now if you see this table, then you will find that year annual depreciation, interest earned, increase in fund value, accumulated depreciation and book value. Now, this is the table which has been given as a solution to you, and let us analyze this solution. Now, in the year 0, at the start of the first year, the book value is 30 lakh. Now, in the first year, at the end of the first year, the depreciation charge is 156,863.48. There will be no interest earned. Now, increased in the fund value is the same. Cumulative is depreciation is same, and the book value is this minus this, comes out to be 28,43136.52. Now, in the year 2, again I will have annual depreciation 156,863 because it will not change with time, but here this money will earn a interest which will be 10% of this, is interest on is 15686.3. So, when we add these two, basically the fund value which we get is 172,549.8, and the accumulated depreciation is 329413.30, and the book value is 26,70586.692. Now, in the next year, in the third year, the interest will be charged on this. So, if we see here, interest on third year is equal to 329,413, this is the value, 0.30 into 0.1 is comes out to be 32941.3308. So, here the annual depreciation charge will be the same, but the interest which will be accrued here will be 32941.3, and this becomes 189,804.8, this becomes 519,218.11 and this is 2480781.88. Now, interest on fourth year will be charged on this value. So, this will be 329413.308 into 0.1 because 10% of it 329441.3308. So, interest charge in the fourth year will be I have wrongly done it. This will be not be 329, this will be this value 519,218.11 into 0.1 and this comes out to be 51921.8. So, this will be 51921.8, this will be 20,008 878529, this is 72,800,341 and this will be 2271,996.589. So, this is how this is computed and the results are obtained. So, I think you will be able to understand if you can analyze the whole table up to the 10th year, you will find that the way how this has been computed. Now, let us go to the problem number 2. Mahindra and Company purchased a machine for rupees 5 lakh on 1st January 2009. The estimated useful life of the machine is 5 years with a scrap value of 50,000. You are required to calculate the annual depreciation charged using sinking fund method. The interest rate is 5% annually. So, this is example 2. Now, the given are V is equal to 5 lakh, Vs is equal to 50,000, V minus Vs is equal to 4 lakh 50,000, I equal to 0.05. So, R formula is R equal to V minus Vs I 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. Now, based on this, if I compute the value of R, this is equal to 45 4,50,000 into 0.18 comes out to be rupees 81438.66. Now, the interest earned at the end of the second year is, again we draw the same table, annual depreciation, interest earned, increased in fund value accumulated depreciation. If we do this, then at year 0 we have the 5 lakh as book value. Now, in 1 year the payment will be 81438.66. This is the value of R which we have calculated. Now, no interest earned, the fund value is 81438.66 and this is also 81438.66. Now, in the year 2 again the payment of 81438.66 will done, but this value will now earn a interest of 5%. So, when I find out the interest of 5%, so here interest earned at the end of second year, this is equal to 81438.66 into 0.05 and this comes out to be 4071.933. If I see the timeline, this is 0, this is a payment which is being done at the end of first year and this payment is 81438.66. Now, there will be another payment in second year, this payment is also 81438.66, so on and so forth, but this payment will earn a interest for 1 year here. At this point, if I take interest earned at the end of second year, so this value will earn a 5% interest and this is this. So, this interest is 4071.93 and this value is this 2 when I add, this is 85510.59 and accumulated depreciation is 166949.25. Now, in the third year, now here at the second year the accumulated value is this. In the second year the accumulated this plus interest of this, it comes out to be 166949.25. So, this will pay interest of 1 year here. So, interest earned at the end of third year is equal to 166949.253 into 0.05, that comes out to be 8347.46. So, I will have an interest here at the end of third year again 84138.66, but the interest earned will be 8347.46. This when add together, this is 89786.12 and this one becomes 256735.37. So, interest earned at the end of fourth year will be equal to this value, that is 256735.37 into 0.05 comes out to be 12836.77. So, here at the end of 4th year, this is 12836.768. This both added together, this becomes 94275.42, and this cumulative becomes 351010.80. So, interest on 5th year will be based on this value. So, in the basis of this we calculate. So, this is 5th year, this will be 81438.66, this is 17550.54, this is 98989.20, and this is 45000, 4,50,000. Now, if you see this, you will find that this method assumes that the cost of the machine will remain stagnant at 50 lakhs. There is an assumption in this method is that the 50 lakhs, which is the cost of the machine, remains constant when we purchase it after 5 years. It also means the total depreciable cost is 4,50,000, it remains constant throughout the life, and this 4,50,000 includes the total interest earned amounting to 42,806.70. That means 42,000. The 4,50,000, which here I am saying the accumulated depreciation, has got an interest component of this 42,806.70. Now, let us summarize. This is the last lecture of the module 1, that is depreciation. Sorry, this is the last but one lecture. In the last lecture we will compare all the methods together. This is the last but one lecture of the module 1, that is depreciation, and here we have analyzed the sinking fund method. The sinking fund method has a special characteristic that it is based on time value of money, and that is why the depreciable amount which is accumulated at the end of the service life contains a heavy component of the interest, as in this case the 4,50,000 rupees, which is the depreciable amount, contains a interest of 42,806.76. Thank you.